Hello everyone, welcome back to my lecture series on Hindu law. This is the fifth video in the series and second video in the Unit 2 marriage and kinship series. Okay, in the first video on marriage and kinship, we discussed the introduction part of it, and in this video, I will be discussing about Section 5 to Section 8 of Hindu law. Okay, Hindu Marriage Act. The entire series of my Hindu law is based on the textbook titled Hindu Law written by Dr. Rakesh Ainapur, which is available on Amazon, Flipkart and Vision Bookstore for download. And you can also download from Google Play Store and Amazon Kindle. In the first video on Unit 2, we already discussed what is marriage and kinship and then evolution of institution of marriage and family, laws which are there prior to a Hindu Marriage Act. And from this video onwards, we will start Hindu Marriage Act 1955 related discussions. In this video, we will see overview of Hindu Marriage Act and also Section 5 to Section 8. And in the forthcoming videos, we will be discussing matrimonial remedies, maintenance and alimony, Dowry Prohibition Act, these points. Moving on. Hindu Marriage Act, a small act with 30 sections. Section 1 to 4 are preliminary. And then Section 5 to 8 talks about what is marriage and what are the conditions for marriage. And then Section 9 to 18, we can say, it is all provides remedies for any conflicts. Section 9 deals with restitution of conjugal rights and judicial separation. And Section 11 to 18 provides nullity of marriages and divorce. 19 to 20 talked about jurisdictions and procedures, and 29 to 30 is a savings and repeal section. So basically we will focus from Section 5 to Section 20 in upcoming videos. What are the key highlights of Hindu Marriage Act? It is a uniform legal code for Hindus across the country because every Hindus are following different customs and religious practices to make a common law. So Hindu law is enacted. So it is a uniform legal code among Hindus, but still some customs and practices are accepted. To whom all it is applicable? It is applicable to every Hindus by religion. It also includes, it is applicable to Buddhists, Jains and Sikhs. In other words, we can easily say that who is not a Muslim, who is not a Christian, Parsi or a Jain, for them the Hindu law is applicable. Simple. Hindu law is applicable to everyone other than Muslims, Christians, Parsis or Jews and Jews. Okay. They are governed by their specific civil codes. So that's why the Hindu law is applicable only for non-Muslims, non-Christians, non-Parsis and non-Jews. So Hindu law talks about conditions for valid marriages, which Section 5, which talks about that, we will discuss in detail. It all propounds monogamy. There should be a mental capacity, the age of the parties as per the law, prohibited degrees of relationship, and absence of subinter relationship. All these points we will discuss in Section 5. And then what kind of marriages are accepted? There are various forms of marriages we discussed in first unit: Brahma, Daiva, Arsha, Prajapatya, Gandharva, Asura, and others. You can go to a first video and then you can see it. All the marriages are accepted based on the based on the privileging customs and practices. Registration of marriages is mandatory and it is required under Section 8, but it is not mandatory, but it is better to get registered. And it also given clearly called out right and obligation of spouses, and it provides detail for grounds for divorces. And in case of divorces, what are the maintenance and alimony to be paid? And it abolishes, like it not recognizes child marriage, so it defines what is the legal age for marriage. Okay. So, as we saw in the first video, right, prior to introduction of Hindu law, there were many laws were there, many customs practices were there. Now, Hindu law brought in a proper legal clarity. It has brought in a social reforms by promoting, by uh, restricting child marriages, polygamy marriages, and even it brought in equalities and reduces gender disparities, and it also protects the rights of both husband and wife, and then it is adopted to a various international laws, and then it is mostly focused on justice, equity, and good conscience, but also accepting the customs and rituals which are prevailing. So in that way, Hindu law is a most modern law from a family law perspective. Okay, so what are the conditions for valid marriages according to Hindu law is given in section 5. Uh, it is an absence of existing spouse. So Hindu law promotes monogamy. So there should not be existing spouse. Before marriage, there should be, like he is a bachelor, he should be a bachelor or she should be a bachelorette. Otherwise, the spouse should not be there. That's the first condition. Capacity to consent, though there should be capacity to a consent, which you might have already read in a contract act, right? They should be of a sound mind. They should not be an lunatic. All those things, they should have a capacity to contact. And there is a age requirement. Uh, for girls, it is 18 years, and for boys, it is 21 years for marriage. Prohibited degree of relationship, and then Sapinda relationship, which we discussed in the first video. Prohibited relationship, I will explain in a detailed slide. This certain relationship, if you are from a same parents, like grandparent, parent, child, in this lineage, people should not be married. That is one of the prohibited relationship, which is called as a Sapinda relationship. This is not allowed. And apart from that, brothers and sisters cannot marry, or father and daughter-in-law should not be married. So there are many relationships which cannot be married. We will talk about that. So these are the key conditions for solemnization: absence of existing spouse, capacity to consent, age requirement, prohibited degree of relationship, Sapinda relationship. Remember guys, Sapinda relationship is also one of the form of prohibited. There are 3 to 4 items under prohibited relationship. Sapinda is one of that. Sapinda means having a common ancestors. And then is the ceremonies in under Hindu law is mandatory? Yes, there should be some amount of ceremonies should be conducted, either parties. We know the Saptapadis or other sacred activities should be taken care to to confirm that it is a Hindu marriage, and then registration of a Hindu marriage. This is another aspect, but it is not mandatory. But the state government can make a rule about compulsory registration. It is better to have registered. Okay, so we will see these points. Section 5, which talked about the conditions for solemnization. So there should not be an existing spouse, capacity should be there, age requirements, prohibited degree of relationship. So the important case law of absence of existing spouse is Yamuna Bai Anantrao Adav versus Anantrao Shivram Adav. It is held that second marriage solemnized without the dissolution of first marriage is void under Section 5, subsection 1. Okay, this is a clear case for absence of existing spouse. If existing spouse is there, the second marriage is not valid. What is prohibited degree of relationship? Certain level of relationship should not be married to maintain a social norms within a community. So those are given here. Sapinda relationship, it is 5 generations on the father side and 3 generations on the mother side should not be married. This includes parents, siblings, grandparents, aunties, uncles, etc. This is the whole family structure. Father side 5 generations and mother side 3 generations. Lineal ascendants and descendants, parents, grandparents, children's grandchildren, same as above. Then siblings like brothers and sisters, including half sibling, all they do not marry. There are some marriages which are called as a levirate and sororate marriages. In some societies, there is a custom that which allows man to marry his deceased brother's wife. That is called as levirate. Or a woman can marry to a deceased sister's husband. That is called as sororate. So these are a prohibited relationship, but from a customs perspective, people are following and it is allowed. Cousin marriages. Cousin marriages, according to Sapinder relationship, is not allowed, but in certain communities, it is accepted, like in Rajput, even in Muslims also, it is accepted. And in South India, it is common that a younger brother can marry his sister's daughter. Okay. So, and brother's son can marry to a sister's daughter, vice versa. So, this is common in South India. Uh, so these all are, though it is falling under Sapinda relationship, which is a prohibited, but from a customs perspective, people are following and it is allowed. Section 7, ceremonies for Hindu law. It is compulsory that there should be some ceremonies to be conducted, like Saptapadi or taking 7 steps is a mandatory. It is in the recent case law, what we saw, right? It is a Dolly Ronnie versus Manish Kumar say, a case in May 2024. Supreme Court clearly ruled that Hindu marriages are not valid unless ceremonies are prescribed in Hindu Marriage Act are performed. Unless these ceremonies are performed, this is not a valid marriage. Okay, so this is all about Dolly Rani versus Manish Kumar. Uh, See, what happened in this case is Dolly Rani and Manish Kumar, they registered the marriage before the wedding rituals. So that's why government has quashed this marriage validity. Then Section 8, registration of Hindu marriages. State governments can make a rules on this. It is compulsory registration. It can be an non-compulsory. State government should give a legislative oversight and then provide a uh, required legal document for registration. But if it is not registered, it doesn't mean that it is not a marriage. Registration is must. It is a good to have it. So if you are not done, registration is also fine. But courts are directing to make a compulsory registration. This was done in Seema versus Ashwini Kumar's case, and same way, it is directed in Seema versus Ashwin Kumar case that same case, this one, directed to all state, Supreme Court directed to all state that marriage registration should be made compulsory to curb the Child Marriage Act. So this is all about section 5, 6 and 8. 5, 6 and 8, 7 is omitted. So with that, we are concluding this video. Thank you so much, and I request you to please share this video with your friends and uh, colleagues. So it will motivate me to keep posting more and more videos. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. Thank you. Thank you so much.